President-elect Joe Biden speaking out tonight after electors cast their votes today, confirming his win.
His speech centered on uniting a country that is deeply divided, addressing allegations of voter fraud and the democracy on which this country has been built. WGN's Brona Tumulty joins us now with more on that. Brona.
That's right. This was very much a speech that sought to bring people together, with Biden stating he wanted to move past all of the lawsuits and election fraud claims and to move forward together as a country.
In America, politicians don't take power. People grant power to them.
His victory now reaffirmed by electors around the country, President-elect Joe Biden addressed the nation tonight in an effort to unite.
I will be president for all Americans. I'll work just as hard for those of you who didn't vote for me as I will for those who did.
Along with thanking election workers and the more than 81 million voters who backed him and Vice President-elect Kamala Harris.
Together, the Vice President-elect Harris and I earned 306 electoral votes, well exceeding the 270 electoral votes needed to secure victory.
That, coincidentally, is the same number of electoral votes garnered by President Trump and Vice President Pence back in 2016.
At the time, President Trump called the Electoral College tally a landslide. By his own standards, these numbers represented a clear victory then, and I respectfully suggest they do so now.
President-elect Biden went on to address the efforts made in recent weeks by the Trump campaign to challenge the election outcome at every level of the judicial system.
To hand the presidency to a candidate who lost the Electoral College, lost the popular vote, and lost each and every one of the states whose votes they were trying to reverse.
Adding that at every level, democracy has prevailed.
Nothing, not even a pandemic or an abuse of power, can extinguish that flame.
Also today, a resignation from Attorney General William Barr. His letter tweeted out by President Trump this evening, who added in part that their relationship has been a very good one. He has done an outstanding job. As per letter, Bill will be leaving just before Christmas to spend the holidays with his family. Now, in recent weeks, the pair have been at odds, at least in part due to comments made by the Attorney General that the Justice Department had found no evidence of widespread voter fraud, and certainly none that would reverse Biden's victory. After Barr's last day on the 23rd, Deputy Attorney General Jeff Rosen will take over as acting AG, and Richard Donoghue will step into Rosen's role.
All right, Brona, thanks. Well,